So, hey guys, for those of you guys who weren't here from last video, or you just tuned in, or you weren't in my live stream testing out my new shit, Cody and I have officially moved back into our in-laws' house, and that means no swamp cooler in the background. I'm sure a lot of you guys are excited for that, because I know a lot of people were complaining about that, but the California heat wave has just been awful, and it's fried my brain, but I'm going to talk about that a little later in the video. I want to get what I want to say out of the way first. So this is a actual special collaboration video. This is not just me coloring something, which I'm sure most of you guys are used to from collabs from me. I want to do more of these types of collabs, even though I do love coloring shit, where, you know, it is an even collab trade. Most of the time it's like a thing with my buddy and I, and they'll sketch, I'll color, whatever. But this time it was more like a trade, and I have one other collab in the works with another fun YouTuber that'll hopefully be done soon. No promises, but I'm hoping. They're waiting on me. But anyway, this is a collab with PastelMonstaa, and I hope I said your username right, girl. She's really cool. She's actually an artist I admired for a long time. I knew of her years ago when she was under another name, but I'm not going to say now because I'm probably going to, I'm going to destroy it. But she actually came to me and offered first, and I was super flattered because I really love her style. She has a very cute, old school anime kind of feel to it, and I think I've talked about this before. I really, really admire anime artists, even though I draw like a cartoony style. And so being able to color something super duper anime is always really fun. That's why I love doing collabs with my buddy Val and sometimes Bezzy K as well, you know. And I don't know, there's something different about it. And so I should talk about what you're watching first, which is my half, where I am sketching I'm sketching and inking their cute little cat anime girl who is adorable, and I had a blast drawing her. And at one point you will see I had a very difficult time drawing the hands, and as I explained in a couple of things on Airfx's channel, hands have always been a curse for me. And you even see here I drew out a hand that looked really good, but it turns out it was in the opposite fucking direction. So I had to relook up a reference and do all this and that, because hands are a bitch, okay? People keep coming to me for advice, being like, how do you draw hands? And this is a perfect example. And this is also a good example of why I tend to cut out my sketching process. But since this is a collaboration and all I'm doing was the sketching and inking for my half, besides the coloring pastels, I thought, yeah, I should throw the sketching in. So you guys get to see a special process. And this was a lot of fun to do. I really enjoyed doing her cute little cat girl, and I'm actually kind of bummed I don't get to color it, but I cannot wait to see Pastel's version when she colors it. I will boopy a little like info thing when Pastel has her half done, and if not, in the meantime I'll have her channel booped, and I'll have the video in the description too for when Pastel gets her half done. And let's get on to coloring my half. I colored the inks that Pastel did of my actual goddess OC that was an adoptable I got from Anna. So it's like, everybody's getting shout out now. She's actually she's the goddess for my Nightshade elves, which are like my drow in my world, in like my main story in Marked. And yeah, it's so funny. Like when I saw her design, because I had such a difficult time designing the goddess for the Nightshade, because in my world, a little snippet of my story, since a couple of people have actually asked me to talk about it more, so I think I will without spoiling things. There were two main gods that something happens and they sort of split off into lesser gods and then other creatures and stuff. And so I wanted each sentient race on my planet to have their own sort of god, goddess, creator thing that came from the two main ones. And because of that, I was having a difficulty. I have a good one for the humans. I have a good one for the other type of fae in my world, because I have the nightshade, and then I have the opposite of that. But I haven't settled on a name for that species yet, like that version of them. But when that happens, don't worry, you'll see art of it. But yeah, so I was thinking that for that, when I saw Anna posted this adoptable, I was just like, you know what? No, she's perfect. I have to have her. And so I adopted her. And normally when I get adopts, I tend to change a couple things here and there, but her design was so spot on, I had to keep it. So yeah, there's that, because I can't really talk about too much of it without it being spoilery. So yee, I hope you guys enjoyed that. But now I want to get into a little tangent from the art. I've talked about the art. The art was fun. 10 out of 10. We'd totally collab again. Pastel, if you want to ever do one again, we totally should, because it was a lot of fun. But I wanted to just talk about my life for a hot minute. I know I kind of did an update-ish in my previous video, but I feel like this is something I should really explain, because I scared some people on Twitter. Because I had a lot of people concerned for me when Cody and I had our date moved up again when we were moving back out of his grandparents' house. For those of you guys who don't know, we technically don't live on our own. We rent from family because we are saving to move and have a wedding. So it's kind of sucks. If it was one or the other, we would probably be moved out. But since our wedding is next year, we're saving up for that because we want to have a nice wedding. And we're also saving up to have a good savings buffer for when we move out to a place, so we don't end up being like some people where, we move out for 3 months and then can't do it and have to move back in with our family. We want to move out and be move out. And so to do that, they suggest that you have all of your bills in entirety covered for up to 3 months. But Cody and I are paranoid, so we want to have it up for a year, just in case anything happens. Knock on wood, nothing does happen. But it's always, we're both very paranoid, thinking ahead people, and we'd rather be safe than be sorry. So because of that, in the summer, we live at Cody's grandparents' house, because they actually have a lake house in Washington that they go to every summer, and so we were going to stay there. And this summer was actually really nice. It was not that bad, but the freaking end of August, man, I don't know what it was, but for those of you guys who don't know, in California, with everything that's going on in Hurricane Harvey, I'm not trying to put anything away from that, but California's been its own kind of hell. I'm not comparing it to Hurricane Harvey. They deserve the news. Holy crap, people are losing their houses. But we've hit this sudden heat wave out of nowhere, where the heat will be anywhere from 114 to 109 on average, anywhere in between. And at Cody's grandparents' house, where most of my audio was, they don't have central air. And for a lot of people who, live in states that don't have central air, they're like, oh, well, you little bitch, don't complain. It's no, it's actually really important out in California. It's California and Arizona are some of, I think Nevada too, are the few states where they kind of for most housing permits, unless they're really old houses, they require air conditioning in it, because of the fact that it can be very deadly if it gets too hot. And that's what ended up happening to Cody and I, was the house would get so hot and we couldn't really go anywhere else because we knew we were leaving again. So we were kind of stuck there, and we both ended up having heat exhaustion, not heat stroke. A lot of people thought I had a heat stroke. Heat stroke's when you have to go to the hospital because your brain is literally boiling inside your skull. And most of the time when you have heat stroke, you don't usually come back from that, or you have serious damage. But we had heat exhaustion just from being in the house. We had everything to stay cool, and we were exhausted all the time. We were always angry. It was really not good, and it made it to the point where we also didn't realize we weren't sleeping well. I bring this up because I noticed in some of my other audio, I sound very tired and very scatterbrained and very much more not myself compared to how I normally am. And it really hit us when we got back here, and the first night we both slept like rocks, and it was the first time we were both holy crap, this is the first time in 3 weeks we've actually slept through the night. That's either of us, because for those of you guys who don't know, I had to purposefully fuck up my sleep schedule to be awake at night and sleep during the day, because that was the only way, because it would be so hot and so humid in the house that I wouldn't be able to work until it was at night. And even then, I couldn't even work until it was like 3 in the morning. And I'd have like a very small time frame to get stuff done. And we had to pack up to move. And we had to clean up. As well as, all this other jazz. Which is why I've been like really slow on commissions. But I'm speeding them up again now that we're moved in. And we're safe. We're not sick anymore. Because there were a lot of people I know who were getting like really sick, and out where my parents live, they're like, they used to have a really bad homeless problem. They don't do much anymore, but they still have some homeless people, and my mom informed me that a couple of homeless people even died from the heat because of how bad it's been. And we stayed hydrated, we stayed as cool as we could, but it really, really does affect your art flow. It really does affect you as a person as well. Like, I'm still sort of exhausted, and I didn't even do anything. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that in case you were wondering if like my audio sounded different or I sounded different, because I had some people, again, message me privately being like, hey, you're sounding kind of like, dead, like you're not really enjoying it anymore. It's like, no, I'm enjoying it. It's just, this summer took its toll, man. It took its toll hard. And I know that's like completely random compared to like the topic of like what this video is about and everything, but I wanted to inform you guys since, you guys seem to care, and I'm so flattered that you guys care, so that's why I like to keep people informed. But, I don't know, maybe that's just me. Now I'm rambling, so I think I'm going to end the audio here, and I will let the music take it away for the rest of it. And, as always, guys, I will. See you next time. Bye!